Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt, he sits on the House Judiciary Committee, candidate for Senate in the Lone Star State. Congressman, appropriate to have you on. You know, there are many that are very upset about seeing what could potentially happen to our not only our TSA workers, Coast Guard, FEMA, Secret Service, but how this could impact Americans. Again, when you hear the term leverage, as TSA workers become leverage again as a negotiation tool. Congressman, your thoughts this morning on the shutdown?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And Democrats are playing political football with the American people. Look, it's the bottom line is this is our number one mission, is to make sure that we keep our citizens safe. That's exactly what President Trump is trying to do. And last I checked, when Barack Obama was president, he actually deported a lot of people, but everyone cooperated with him because they were a part of the same party. And now that President Trump is trying to simply do the exact same thing, all of a sudden these blue states and Democrats have a problem with that. And what I'm seeing now is that we're heading into a midterm. Early voting has just started here in Texas, and then now they are putting the safety of the American public at stake. And the president was given a mandate. Period. This is why he won the popular vote, the electoral college vote, every swing state. The majority of counties swung in the direction of the Republican Party. And the reason why was literally because of immigration. The fact that 20 million people entered this country illegally, and we have no idea who they are. And President Trump was elected by the people to clean this up by using what? ICE agents and Border Patrol to keep our communities safe. And look, he's also taking advantage, and we're using the supremacy clause. When you enter this country illegally, you're breaking federal law. And so it's up to the federal government to ensure that you go back to your country of origin. This is not that difficult to understand, but Democrats are playing political football with the safety of America, of the American people. It has to come to an end.
You brought up two mentionables. President Trump, President Barack Obama. And I mentioned that because a number of former Obama administration officials are now speaking out as part of a series of oral history interviews compiled by the Columbia-based Insight Institute. So during these interviews, Congressman, former Obama staffers revealed how they underestimated President Trump. That included David Axelrod reflecting on the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner. Watch this.
Obviously, we misread that. I remember walking into the ballroom for that dinner, and I was passing by Trump, who was only a couple of tables away from me, and I heard him telling someone, saying, this was before the 2012 election. He was actually toying with running in that election, and he said, "I know it's crazy, but I'm in front in the polls, you know." And so, and I kind of chuckled at it and went to my seat. I don't think any of us really anticipated that Donald Trump would be a serious candidate for president, much less president.
So that from David Axelrod, Obama camp. Are you surprised by this? And maybe, you know, in this reflection period, why was he underestimated? And can you apply that logic to the midterms?
Well, of course, I'm not surprised to see that. If you recall, Barack Obama at the Correspondents' Dinner, while President Trump was sitting there, actually said that he would never be president. And then President Trump became president not once but twice, because they don't understand the will of the people. Actually, we're seeing it right here in my own race here for the United States Senate here in Texas. I don't think John Cornyn saw me coming either. And that's because when you are listening to what's happening up in D.C. and you're not listening to the will of the people, then oftentimes you get sidetracked. It's also Republicans like Senator Cornyn did not see President Trump coming either in 2016, and then he is also one of the Republicans that said that it's time to move on from President Trump in the 2024 election. And in that 2024 election, I was the first person to endorse President Trump because I understand the will of the primary voter and the will of the people in this country. Look, the president is a political force of nature. He is one of two presidents to ever run for president, lose the next election, and then come back and win again, because he has his finger on the pulse to what matters most to the American people. And Barack Obama and his whole staff made a very critical error in underestimating somebody that understood exactly what the people want. Look, I'm surging in my own race because I understand exactly what the people want too. They want a fresh, new face. They are sick of career politicians, and they want term limits. That's what President Trump represented then. That's what I represent now. And that's why they missed it.